I started keeping bees 10 years ago just because I really like bees. I just find bees really fascinating. I think the way that they communicate, the way they build their hives, the way that they've got such a really sophisticated matriarchal system in their beehives. I can sit outside a beehive on a chair and just watch them all day, and I think it's amazing. My name's Meetal Patel and I'm a beekeeper. Whenever people find out that I'm a beekeeper, they go, "What, can you do that in London?" It's like, yes, you can. The urban environment is an environment after all. I randomly met someone who was doing a talk about bees, and then at the end of this short talk, I cornered him and started bombarding him with loads of questions. And the more I asked him, the more I became fascinated and the more I wanted to learn. So at the end of that, I said, "This is amazing. Where can I learn more? I want to be a beekeeper." And that was 10 years ago, and here I am today still. Bees are massively important. A lot of food that we eat on our table every day comes as a result of pollination. And one of the messages I try to get across as Pearly Queen is that pollinators, such as honeybees, are pivotal, and the ecosystem is so fragile that we can take out one element of it and everything would crumble. And bees are really quite key to that. The biggest threat to bees these days are, unfortunately, humans. What we've done when it comes to intensive farming of bees and the way that we spread diseases around and the way that we kind of treat them and stress them in order to harvest or in order to force them to pollinate, the use of pesticides and the use of kind of shipping bees around the country on the back of a truck, these aren't natural. And bees can't stand being treated like that on a healthy basis. They will stress and they will have problems. One of the things I try to do with Pearly Queen is just educate people about having sustainable sources of food. So sustainable honey means that you get it from a local source, you know that it comes from hives that aren't aggressively treated or forced into making as much honey as possible. I only harvest what is appropriate to harvest. If it's not a good year to harvest, I won't touch them. I'll leave the bees because at the end of the day, their health is my paramount importance. But I also run beekeeper experiences. And that's just a very short little taster so people can understand a bit more about what it takes to be a beekeeper, but also how intricate the society of bees are. People often have myths about them, and it's about busting those myths and getting people to understand really what the essence of bees and beekeeping is. And I think when people can make that connection with bees, they can then also make the next connection with their food and how important it is to be mindful of chemicals and where their food is shipped from and how it's treated and how animals are treated. The best part is when you open up the beehive and you know that they're doing really well, and then you see a bee hatching in front of you and you think, actually, maybe I'm doing something right here. I think what really drives my passion is when I can explain to people about bees and they can see for themselves why I love them so much. So whenever I open up the hives and there's always a gasp of, wow, this is amazing, and I can go, yeah, isn't it amazing? Keeping bees in an urban environment is great for honey, mainly because in cities there's such a variety of different sorts of plants that grow here. And because of that, the nectar that's produced in all of those different plants is all varied and it's all different. So the honey that I sell as part of Pearly Queen is from different parts of London, and each part tastes completely different. Even if they're only a few miles away from each other, all those different things go into what is a great kind of melting pot of honey. And I guess that kind of is an analogy for the city itself as a whole. I call it London in a jar because it is from all different parts of London and it all represents all different parts of the world.